negative to positive. True American dream, rags to riches story, front and center. Mr. Gardner came from hard times, from battling homelessness while raising his son, Christopher Jared Gardner Jr., and still to make ends meet with his family and his home as he landed an internship with Dean Witter, the stock brokerage firm, and then persevered in a 6-month training program that offered no pay, and they only accepted one broker per year. He grinded it out with true grit and only selling medical equipment, cutting grass, painting, whatever came to mind. All of that and surviving on from $300 to $400 a month. He persisted, continued to grind, putting in effort as much as possible. And guess what? The universe bended and gave him his dream. He became a stockbroker.
One day, all of us, we're going to get to a stretch of road where there's no maps, no road signs, and no GPS. There's going to be a fork in this road. And one way is going to say, I'm scared and don't know what to do. The other way is going to say, I'm scared, but I'm stepping out on faith. That's the road you got to take.
Hey guys, it's Jose, your regular Joe Blow, keeping an eye out and my ears open as always. Now I bring you my number 2, and it's Mr. Gardner, Chris Gardner. Let's hear what Mr. Gardner has to say in some of his interviews and his speeches. Fair use.
Your net worth is going to fluctuate. It's going to go up and down. That's what money does. But your self-worth should not. Who you are, what's important to you, how you live, your values should never be negotiable, compromised, and you should never settle. Again, we have gotten to this point where we've got to say to ourselves, my net worth is not my self-worth. Things got tense. I still had one shot left at the street, but before I can play it all the way out, I still got to take care of my family, which meant I did everything legal that I could to take care of my family and still pursue my last shot at the street. I cut grass, hauled rubbish, cleaned basements. I learned roofing. I learned painting. I did everything that I could to take care of my folks and still pursue my last shot at the street. Had a situation at home, things were tense, had a problem, something happened, probably never happened to anybody in this room but me. I had one of those arguments with my ex that only ended because we both fell asleep. Now somebody know what I'm talking about. I know you do. We woke up in the morning, everybody's feet hit the floor, and guess what? We went at it again. The neighbors don't know what might happen, what could happen, what's going on. They call the police. The police come, they want to make sure everything is fine, take her over here, calm her down, talk to her, take me outside, calm me down, talk to me. And one of my friendly Berkeley police officers doing his job says, do you mind if I search your car? No, sir, go ahead, no problem. Searches the car, nothing. Then again, doing his job says, well, let me just run this license plate through a computer. That was it. With interest, I had $1,200 in unpaid parking tickets, all of which I had accumulated the previous year trying to interview in downtown San Francisco. Double parking, illegal parking, late to feed a meter. An honest question would be, you knew you had the tickets, why didn't you pay them? Well, you know what? The position I was now in, having to cut grass to put food on the table, every dollar that came in the door, I had to make a decision. I could pay the rent or I could pay the tickets. I did probably what every man in this room would have done. I paid the rent. I was taken to jail. First, last, only time in my life taken to jail for parking tickets. And to show you how a bad day can get worse, all of this happens on a Friday, which means no court until Monday, which also means we cannot hold you in this friendly little downtown Berkeley jail. We need this for our regular weekend customers. I was sent to a place called Santa Rita State Penitentiary, where the most notorious inmate had chopped 23 people to death with an axe. And I'm in here on parking tickets. 10 days. And I know somebody out there thinking about it. Let me tell you something. If y'all got some parking tickets, you need to get up and walk out of here right now. I know you're thinking about it. But for 10 days, all I could think about is, does my little boy know I didn't leave him like my father left me? But the point is, another important decision was made as a young guy, and that decision was I was going to become world-class at something. I just had to find my button. That one thing that turns you on so much that you would do it for free. Years ago, there was this guy named Joe. I'm not going to say his last name because I do know it. He saw me on Oprah. He sends me an email and he says to me, I saw you on Oprah. I hate Oprah. I hate Will Smith. And he used the N-word. But he says, every time I see you, I don't see a color. I learned to hate other people from my father. I'm going to buy your book because I think you have helped me change my life. That was one of those things that sends chills through your body. I'll never forget that. So when it was time for me to do my second book, Start Where You Are, I thought, well, let me just reach out to this guy and see how he's doing. Get him on the phone and I say, hey, man, what's happening? And I got a new book coming out and I want to use your letter in my book. Is that okay? He says, oh, no, Mr. Gardner, please, don't do that. You see, I finally found out what makes me happy. I am now the drummer in an Afro-Cuban reggae band. In the film, they have to do things a certain way. Jaden Smith plays my son as a 5-year-old. My son was 14 months old.
Okay.
That changes everything. He was still in diapers.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
And there was a scene in the film that takes place in a bathroom. And Will and his son create this alternative universe and play this game about being cavemen. We need to find a cave, someplace to spend the night. I had a game I played with my son, and the game was real simple. The game was called Shh. And that meant that no matter what anybody said on the other side of that door, no matter how hard they pound on the door, we're not here. We're invisible. Right. And the hardest thing I had to do every day, childcare. And you think about that. When you've got young children, next to your rent or your mortgage, the biggest expense you got every month is what? Childcare. That was the hardest thing I had to do every day. And to leave my little boy with somebody I did not know and hope everything was okay. Man, that tore me to pieces every day. In perspective, I got to tell you this story about my mom. I had one of those old-fashioned mothers who taught me from the very beginning that I could do or be anything I wanted to do or be. Apparently, I took it too far. I made it my mind, my first ambition in life, I was going to become Miles Davis. Man, Mama said I could be anybody. I chose Miles. I studied music theory. I played trumpet for 9 years. I got pretty good. And when I say I wanted to become Miles Davis, I had it bad. People would ask me as a little boy, what you gonna be when you grow up? I had it so bad, I started talking like Miles, and I'd tell them, I'm gonna be Miles Davis. Thank God my mother heard me say it one time. Mama heard me say it. She said, son, we need to talk. We sat down at the kitchen table. She explained to me, baby, you're pretty good with that thing, but you can't be Miles Davis. Ain't but one, and he got that job. And I had to look at the facts. The facts were, at 18 years of age, Miles Davis was in New York City playing with Quincy Jones and Dizzy Gillespie. At the same age, I was playing with some boys named Pookie and Ray Ray. Hey, we were good, but it wasn't gonna happen. I went to a boarding house, Oakland, California, all I can afford, 3 meals a day and a room. My days as a trainee were the same as they were for every other trainee who's ever started at the bottom on Wall Street. You do the one thing the brokers do not want to do or feel is beneath them, which is cold call. Turned myself into a cold call machine 200 times a day. I don't know if you guys in the back can see this, but in the front, see how this one finger is cockeyed? That's my calling finger. 200 times a day. And at night, study, study, study. What are you going to do with your time? It all comes down to time. That is all we got. You can lose a house, get a new house. Lose a job, get a new job. But when you lose the person that you love more than life, that's irreplaceable. You can make money, you can lose money. You can't make time. You could say to every person you meet over the next couple of days, how much time you got to work before you're eligible for retirement? People know. How much gas is in the car? People know. How much time you got left in your life? Don't nobody know? Time is the ultimate luxury. Some of us get more than others. Some of us get more than we deserve. But none of us know how much we have left in our lives. We just don't know.
Wow, truly inspiring. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Gardner, for your service, for your motivation. Full salute. I'll apply this to my life with my disciplines and continue to excel and prevail so I can bring the best to my viewers and my subscribers. Guys, stay tuned for number 3. Stay free.